Yeah. Woo!
Oh my motherland. It has been a few months since Anime North happened. I'm not sure why I put off making this vlog for so long. I had it in mind to get it done like while Three Houses was happening, so I had time to write vlogs and scripted content as like a Let's Play would tide over for time, but the whole PC happened and things changed and now we're here. I'm just gonna get right into it. Anime North was like legit one of the greatest experiences of my life so far. Yeah, it was nuts, dude. I went through all the footage, and I'll tell you what, like going through all the footage again and just kind of reminiscing, it was like 3 or 4 months ago only, and seeing the footage again was really brought me back, and it really was one of the funnest weekends I've ever had. I'll get into it. My time at Anime North, my experience meeting Mangs, Stevie from Lucky Crit. Geraldo was not there, neither was Henry, which is very disappointing. Chaz, Goose, Pavis. It was really cool because they are the exact same person whatever version you see them on camera is literally just them. I'm gonna call Lucky Crit Stevie for this entire video because I think he is just called Stevie. No one ever calls him Lucky Crit. Stevie was my roommate for the trip. So the first thing I did when I got off the plane is I got into the cab, got to the hotel, gave Stevie a call. I was like, hey man, I'm just checking in, whatever. Yeah, I basically had to settle in and then gear up, get my camera, get my laptop, my electronics and whatnot, and then meet Stevie and Chaz at the hotel at some point. I ended up with Stevie and Chaz, and these boys are hilarious. Chaz is like quite possibly, and I mean this in the most endearing way, one of the biggest goofballs I've ever met in recent memory. Like, we would just record him doing, like, the most innocuous shit, and somehow it would be funny. He is just the most... He's both, like, unintentionally hilarious, but also just, like, when he wants to be funny, he can just say funny things. And Stevie is, like, meeting a friend you've known for a really long time. You know that, like, that calmness that he has in his videos? It's just him. Like... And Stevie did talk about this in his own video, where people... Sometimes there's this, like, difference between how someone acts behind a camera and how someone acts in real life, and none of us act any different than who we are like on a camera. I act my way, Stevie is his way, Chaz is his way, Mangs is his way, and Goose is like chill in her way, that kind of thing. It was actually really refreshing because it really feels like when we all met, we were just like a bunch of friends meeting up after not seeing each other for a long time. Me, Goose, and Vanguard drove to the airport to try to find Mangs, and it took us like 10 to 15 minutes for him to get off the plane. And then I saw Mangs come out from the Mangs came out from the international departures, and I immediately spotted him, and I yelled over his name, and I just have the video of me like recording him and he's recording me. And again, it was like two old friends reuniting. Like, Mangs and I have known each other for like, oh my god, we've known each other for so long. Like, we've known each other for so long, through thick and thin, through like, we actually like stopped being friends like I think 3 different times because like we just didn't, there were some points where we just like couldn't get along. And actually not a lot of people know that about us, but like we've had some solid like, some like pretty heavy arguments and like in private. This is gonna sound super cheesy, but I feel like our friendship has been like solidified at this point, and like, you know, friends are gonna like argue with each other and that kind of thing, but I feel like we've really tempered that friendship, and it really felt like when I saw him, I was like, wow, I'm like actually talking to someone who I've been friends with for a long time, and seeing him in real life was like the most natural occurring thing that could possibly happen. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun stuff. So basically, yeah, like the first day was just us meeting each other for the first time and like just getting drunk. We got hammered, we were plastered, we were being hooligans. You're with a bunch of friends who you're never gonna see for maybe another year, you're gonna go off. Day 2 is when the actual like participation of the event started. And the 3 big things to come out of that day was the Fire Emblem panel, the Fire Emblem shoot and meeting with fans, and actually going to the vendor place. So the most chill thing out of those three was certainly the vendor. And honestly, like I bought three things at the vendor stands, the artist's alley. I bought a Camilla poster, an Azura poster, and a Lynn poster. And it was decent, but I mean, I just kind of bought what I saw. As far as Fire Emblem goes, I really feel like there wasn't a lot of representation just yet. And it's a stark contrast to Otakuthon 2019 because Three Houses had been out and there's a bunch of Three Houses stuff. And it was chill. I mean, it was like what you would expect pre-new game Fire Emblem 2019 stuff. And yeah, I was in my Gerik cosplay and it was really exhausting, but it was really neat to cosplay for the first time. And it was really special to me because for Gerik, who is my actual favorite character in Fire Emblem, to be able to cosplay him and to actually work hard for like 3 months to actually achieve as close as his body type as possible was a fun challenge for me, and I tried to do my best, and I really think it turned out really, really, really well, and I had a lot of fun, and I think it was definitely worth it. One of my favorite memories of it was there was this girl, and I think her name is Beatrice, but we follow each other on Twitter now, and I was getting out of Vanguard's van, and this girl was like, "Is that Gerik?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Go to the bus stop because there's like this huge crosswalk between the two giant hotels, and so we go to the bus stop and we start talking about Gerik and Fire Emblem and stuff, and I'm like casually hinting that like I made a Gerik video, and she's like, "Oh cool, I've never seen this," and I was like, "Yeah, I literally wrote this." I was like, "I literally made this," and that was pretty funny. And then later that day she actually made fan art of Gerik in the pose that I posed in, and that was literally one of the coolest things I think I could really remember, feeling like I was not only like contributing to the Gerik fandom in that way, but for me to like kind of be Gerik in that I made a pose and that was her art, her like sketch. I was like super honored. It was like one of the coolest experiences ever. And I was like, wow, like I really just love Gerik so much even more. It was such a sick picture. It was so sick. And like everyone was like so down for it. Like everyone loved the idea of a Gerik cosplay and they really were happy that I did it. And I was really happy that I did. And it was a really feel-good moment for sure. Easily the craziest thing about the convention was the panel. So we had planned this panel out months in advance. We wanted to, you know, handle the Fire Emblem panel because last Anime North's panel, I was in it, and I wasn't in it, but I was in the audience for it, and it wasn't the greatest thing, I should say. Like, it wasn't bad, but it just wasn't what I expected. And we were fully down to have, like, a separate panel from, like, the actual panelists who did it last year, but what they did was they just kind of made us the main Fire Emblem panel, and we were expecting to have, like, there would be, like, 2 panels. One for us as YouTubers, and one for, like, the actual panel itself, but they just kind of made us the actual panel, and that was it. So we were like, okay, whatever. I can't speak for every entertainer out there, but I thrive off interaction. So I thrive off people liking my stuff, commenting, like actually showing that they support what I do in subscribing and stuff. And that validates me as an entertainer, and it validates me as a person, because if I was just like shooting out videos and like no one was watching them, or very little people would watch them, I probably wouldn't be motivated to do it. But the fact that that I have a voice on this platform and people will watch and listen to me and listen to what I have to say, not even agree, just like listen to what I have to say. Like I've made videos of some pretty like out there takes, which like looking back, I don't agree with anymore. But like they were all important for me to get to where I am now. But to convert that like reward into like real life and having people fly out, like drive and fly 2 hours, 3 hours to meet you and see what this panel is all about. And not just me, like not me, but like people wanted to meet Mangs because they knew most likely that it would be like the only opportunity like for a while potentially that Mangs, the biggest Fire Emblem dedicated YouTuber out there, would be here for them to meet. And not only that, like if they're a fan of me, then they'd be able to meet me. If they were a fan of Chaz, they'd be able to meet Chaz. If they were a fan of Stevie, they'd be able to meet Stevie. And Stevie at that point was like booming like fucking bananas. And we were all like really we were all like actively making YouTube stuff. And so it wasn't just like, let's all talk to Gas or let's all talk to Stevie. It was like people wanted to see us for different things. And at one point in the panel, I was like, who watches Support Science? And like a handful of people like raised their hand. And it was like, you know, being able to entertain and even perform in front of a live audience was like, just, it was, I don't know, it was like, it magnified the experience of being an entertainer and being like a YouTuber, like so much more. And it's so sick that people would be willing to like drive out just to like hang out and meet and like ask questions and stuff. And I fully understand, like I fully understand that sentiment because I did something similar not too long ago. And I'll get to that in another video. I speak to all of us who were there when someone says like, I'm a huge fan of your stuff or your stuff has really helped me through a hard time. It's like, man, what really set in stone my mentality of we're not just like content creators on YouTube, like we're actual people that these people look up to, is when you have people who are driving like 2-3 hours to meet you. And man, it was just so crazy. Like it was, I don't know if humbled is even like the apt word to describe it, but it was just like an unreal experience. And it's like, those opportunities don't come often. And I am incredibly lucky. I am incredibly lucky to be in a situation like this, where even if it's this small section of this niche game on the internet, like I have folks like you listening and whatnot and like wanting to like fucking hang out and shit. And that's dope, man. Like that is so sick. I cannot get over how fired up I was. Everyone else was like nervous and stuff. Meg's like shaky and like Chaz and Stevie were like visibly like nervous about the whole thing. And I was just like, let's effing go, boys. Man, it was so sick. I can't stop talking about how epic it was, man. Like, and not just that, like I would have felt this way if it was like 20 people or like 30 people who show up to like listen to what you have to say. But like we had literally hundreds, like at least 200 people. Like people were filing in lines and they had to like restrict people from coming in because they filled this giant room up. This room had like 100 people and like there was way more than that. Like in that first clip, like there's more than 100 people who were there. Relatively, I'm really happy with where like I'm at, with where Mangs is at, where how Chaz is doing, how Stevie is doing. Like we're just growing, and for us to really kind of see like these people who like subscribe to us and who watch our content literally be there in person was just like fuck. But that's my spiel about the convention. It was sick. And then day 3 was us just getting hammered. We got lit again. That is when we had the workout video when I trained Vanguard, Mangs, and Stevie, which was super fun. Yeah, so getting them into my element and getting to train them, and then we got super loaded. We went to the hot tub and me and Mangs just like chilled and like got drunk and like we were just like, there was one moment where me and Mangs are drunk and we're in the hot tub and like Stevie and Chaz and Goose and Beyond Polygons who showed up and Vanguard, they're chilling in the pool and me and Mangs, like, we're having our alone time. Out of everyone there, Mangs and I have been friends for the longest, have been doing this for the longest, and we're just sitting in the hot tub, drunk, like arms around each other, being like, man, this is just fucked. This is just crazy. The entire weekend was like so smooth and like it honestly could not have run any better. Vanguard was like a god. He drove us everywhere. He was so helpful. It was an honor to be a panelist and I'm so thankful that we had it done and Anime North, their staff allowed it for it to happen. It was unforgettable. Meeting so many people and having them like really give me that confidence to keep going and make me so happy that weekend. That weekend was like such a happy time. It was such a happy time. And I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world, man. Otaku-thon 2019 was sick, so I'm gonna make another vlog about that. Guys, I hope you liked this video. I hope you liked this vlog. If you did, you know what to do. I say it in every video. Everyone else's channel is going to be linked down below. And that's going to be it. Deuces.